Good morning, Grade 12. To see you again on the video that we are going to study online today. So when we move to chapter 12, Cambodia history. You know Cambodia history is Cambodia history គឺជាប្រវត្តិសាស្ត្ររបស់ប្រទេសកម្ពុជា And unit 1 will talk how history was born តើវត្តសាស្ត្រវាកើតឡើងដោយរបៀបណា So in order to understand the lesson, I have some vocabulary can help you to understand. Okay, the first word is conflict. Conflicts, a noun, a serious disagreement or argument. វាប្រើភាសាខ្មែរប្រើថាចំនួនណា conflict ហ្នឹង occupy a resident or have one place or business in a building ចឹង occupy មួយម៉ាត់ដូចជាថាការគ្រប់គ្រងលើអ្វីមួយណាយើង occupy to occupy the building I mean យើងគ្រប់គ្រងទៅលើ building precious ជា adjective of great value not to be wasted or treated carelessly precious បើថាមានតម្លៃថ្លៃអ្វីមួយដែលជា precious I mean is very great value យើងមានតម្លៃមែនទែន priest a person who performs religious ceremony ចឹងពាក្យ priest ប្រែមកវាប្រែថាអាចារ្យណាពួកអាចារ្យគ្រូអាចារ្យបាទអាចារ្យហ្នឹងហៅ priest reputation the beliefs or opinion that are generally held about someone or something ចឹង reputation និយាយពីគេឈ្មោះណានិយាយប្រើភាសាខ្មែរថាគេឈ្មោះ resident a person who lives somewhere permanently or on a long-term basis ចឹងresident និយាយប្រើភាសាខ្មែរថាជាប្រជាពលរដ្ឋប្រជាជនធម្មតា resident state យើងប្រើខ្មែរតែម្ដងហើយអត្ថន័យភាសាអង់គ្លេសយើងនឹងសរសេរដល់ខ្លួនឯងស្វែងយល់ខ្លួនឯងណាអញ្ចឹង state ប្រែថារដ្ឋ reclaim ប្រែថាប្រកាស reclaim ដូចថាឧទាហរណ៍ជាមួយបើសិនជាគេថានេះជារបស់ណាគេអញ្ចឹងយើង reclaim ថាជារបស់ខ្ញុំអញ្ចឹង I reclaim it is mine ជាប្រកាសថាជាវាជារបស់យើង contribution គឺការចែកចាយណាការផ្ដល់ឲ្យហ្នឹងគេ contribution heritage ប្រែថាគេដំណើរគេមរតកឬក៏បេតិកភណ្ឌ Okay investigation ការនិយាយប្រើភាសាខ្មែរថាស៊ើបអង្កេត the action of investing យើងស៊ើបអង្កេតវា Okay អញ្ចឹង vocab មានប៉ុណ្ណឹងអ្វីរៀនថ្ងៃហ្នឹងយើងមើលទៅ true false statement របស់យើងណា true false statement របស់យើង we have 5 true false statement number 1 Khmer writing differ from Chinese okay number 2 the story of Kandya is about how the state of the Cambodia was born and Kandya was the Buddhist priest some of the earliest writing about Cambodia is in Sanskrit and Chinese. The history of Cambodia has already been written. ចឹងទីឈើនឹងឲ្យអូយោយើងហើយគិតថាតើប្រយោគហ្នឹងពីលេខ1ដល់លេខ5ហ្នឹងវា true ឬក៏ false. Okay? So thank you. What you have to do is to write down the date and titles and write down the vocabulary into your notebook and the true statement into your notebook. Do not write just T and TF. Just write the whole sentences. Okay? So goodbye. Thank you. 12 Cambodian history. Unit 1. How history is born. Nobody is sure about how different peoples moved through what is now Cambodia is very early times. Consequently, we don't know for certain how long people have occupied Cambodia, where they came from and what language they spoke. What we do know, however, is that by the 5th century, people in the region were already strongly influenced by Hinduism and Buddhism. We know this from early Sanskrit writing and Khmer that developed from it. It is not surprising, therefore, that the main characters in the history about how the state of Cambodia was born is Hindu priest. His name was Kandiya, and when he came to the region, covered in water, and he was met a princess. After he had given gifts to the princess, her father who was a water snake, or a naga, decided to drink up the water and cover his land so that he could give it to Kandiya. The story tells us not only about how the country and called Kampuchea was influenced from the West, but that early permanent resident irrigated their land so as to cultivate it. Although Kandiya, Cambodian the first king, came from the West, the early writing about Cambodia that we know about comes about, but also about the country called Funan and the centers which people believe in it, the present-day province of Prey Veng. These stories, however, are not history and often conflict with each other, although they do also sustain some truth in the future. We may be able to learn more about our past. Don't forget that Angkor, which now has an international reputation, lay abandoned and hidden from many centuries in the jungle. Since Angkor was reclaimed, however, we had begun to realize that history may lie beneath our feet. What at first appeared to be just an old stone we have dug up is discovered to be something precious. Precious not because of it being sold for lots of money, an example of fine art, but because it provides important information about our past through such contribution to our knowledge and through modern scientific investigation. The past continues to rise to the surface and thus becomes part of our heritage and history.